Well, one thing that we have to rectify is finishing plays, finishing shots, taking shots. We turned down a lot of good looks that we, are for whatever reason hesitant to take. They're there, we take them. I don't care if we miss 15 of them. Our three-point shooters have to take them. Finishing plays, we missed about 6 layups at the rim. We make those, and they were at momentum times where it could have shifted the game. We were making a run, and or they were and one. So we got to do those things, and our attention to detail has to be there. When we want to force a guy a certain way, we got to do it. Everybody's got to do their part, be in their position. But there are things that are correctable, things that that we've done before, defensively and offensively both. So attention to detail has to be there, but most of all, the physicality and the force that we play with, the speed that we play with, has to be there. The other night I thought we was in third gear compared to what we were in the previous game. So when we go somewhere, we got to go somewhere with speed, athleticism, and force to get to that position, and that helps a lot in anything you do.
So this didn't feel like this wasn't a trend. This was more of a one-off for you.
Well, I hadn't seen the 4 games we won. I hadn't seen it. Okay. So the whatever trend that is, missing shots, missing layups, we've missed some easy bunnies and gimmies. But and again, some of it too is our second unit lost their rhythm, lost their identity a little bit, and we got to do some things to change that up. But I didn't see it as a trend. Now, if it continues to happen, then it's a trend. But that was, one of those games that you just didn't feel right from the start of the second quarter.
Have you seen Dwane feel more comfortable, do you think, running the show?
He is, and we've got to do some things to help him. The kid, Santarisky, was on him all full court. We got to loosen him up a little bit to get him loosened at half court. But he's the kid. He did a heck of a job. Made some very subtle plays that were important. He does a lot of little subtle things with his game that unless you look at the videos at all, that's his spacing, his moving the ball, his decisions of his passes are right on time.
I know it's an impossible kind of comparison. It's a bad one, but see a little Brandon Roy in him that he plays at a speed and then has a
very
look like he's going quick, but he is.
Right, that very uncanny speed that he goes at. It reminds me a lot of Nate McMillan, who I coached in Seattle. And, so his size, his length, his long arms, his speed.
It doesn't look like he's controlling the game, but
exactly. He's controlling the game. And again, the more comfortable he gets and gets in rhythm, the better game conditioning he gets in, and the more comfortable he gets from that standpoint, the more things I think you'll see him do.
How do you slow down John Wall, if you can at all?
Well, that's a loaded question. I don't know if you can. I think he's a lot like Russell Westbrook from that standpoint, in the fact that he's going to go at one speed, and he does also do a great job of changing speeds. So the key is you got to make sure his pickup point has to be right. You can't pick him up too high and you can't pick him too low. It's got to be, exactly where you need to get to as far as the pickup point. And then again, the next guy next to you has to be in a gap. You got to make sure you have help. He sees bodies. Even when he does that, he's probably going to attack. But it's a 5-man job. It's not a 1-man job.
How and/or why are they different now than last year compared to even 2 years ago? It looked like they were sort of on the rise a couple seasons ago, knocking you guys out, and then they took a dip back last year, and now here they are again.
They're back making shots again, and they're defending. Those two things, I think, are the two keys I think you see. When the guys like Bogdanovich comes out and shoots the ball the way he does, Smith comes off the bench to shoot the ball the way he does, that's important for them. And that's how they, attack you. But defensively, they get after you. They're one of the high turn you over teams in the league. So those two factors, I think, are the difference, for 2 years from last year.
Have you seen the new officiating sort of thing? What do you make of that? Do you think that has some legs?
It does, and we're already doing it a little bit different. We do a post-game on our cell phones after the game. Right after the game, we evaluate the coaches' own officials. So it's already started, and I think Spruill's doing a good job of really, trying to, hold all of us accountable, officials, coaches. How do you think? How do you grade an officials after each game? So I think it's good. Now how we continue to get better as coaches, understanding what officials are doing and their decisions and their rules, and officials. I think it's important. It's just going to help the game.
Is it just nice to have like one guiding hand overseeing all of it now?
It is. It really is. But again, I still say we have some of the best officials in the world. Yeah. They do a great job. But again, we all can get better. And again, I think that's what the league is trying to do, is make sure we keep improving and not just be, stay status quo or be satisfied. And I think they're doing a great job of implementing different programs and ideas, using technology to make us all better.
The next question would be, when you do these phone calls after the game, how long do you wait?
It's not a phone call.
It's
a text.
You give yourself like a 15-minute grace period, and then before you get into it?
No. I try to be totally honest. Even win, lose, or draw, I try to be very, because that's what it's for. I mean, we all would be different if you just graded off of when you lost, but I try to do it, be critical or give guys good grades when we lose or win. And again, most of the games don't come out to officiating. Maybe an end-of-game call or whatever, but officials usually, after you go back and watch the film, do a good job of making decisions and reading plays. And again, nobody's perfect, but that's why they put erasers on pencils.
This is the point of the season where you might, not you specifically, but the team might start resting guys to get ready for playoffs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The older guys with the load. I'm sure that's a year-round discussion. I just wonder if how much more difficult it gets at this point of the season when you're fighting for position and you're
very difficult. Everybody talks about Pop, and I love Pop to death, but he has guys behind him that are easy starters for other teams, and now the young guys coming off the bench in that situation. So he's got Hall of Famers in Ginobili stepping in, and so it makes a difference. And everybody, we all don't have that luxury, but you talk about it. You look at times where you can steal minutes for guys in certain situations, but it's very difficult, like you said, when every possession is important, and you're trying to scratch out games and you're trying to win games. And unfortunate for us, Kyle is getting a good long rest right here. Unfortunately, DeMar had a long rest because of his ankle injury. So we've had some unfortunate situations where it's helped us get some rest, but we'll try to steal some minutes at some point in these last 15 games.
You push shoot-arounds back and things like that, right?
Well, no, we did last year. We've kept with our same early morning this year, just trying to figure out what works, what doesn't work. For us this year, I think we needed the repetitions in practice, defensively, offensively, and used to get better. I think 2 years ago we went to the afternoon shoot-arounds, and I thought our defense slipped, our repetitions, our habits slipped a little bit. And so again, it's not punishment; it's just making sure we, are continuing to create good habits. And the only way, really, the only time you have to do that is shoot-around. Right. And so it seems like to me, and that's what we utilize shoot-around for.
Can a player talk himself into a game, even though whether it's Scott or Alex, might say this is a good day for you to rest or a good time for you to rest?
To talk his way into a game? Well, again, conversely, you have to look at it both ways. Yeah. But I think most of our guys want to play. I think it's more, everybody talks about resting Kyle. It's like, controlling the wild horse on the side. He wants to play. It was his competitive spirit. So it's difficult to hold him back. But we have to help him, whether it's minutes during the game, holding him out of the game or whatever. He's getting that now, so I think I have to do a better job of controlling minutes more, as much as just taking the entire game off.
What was it like that night in Brooklyn when you told him he had to sit?
Well, it was he didn't. We had talked about it earlier that day, I think it was, and so he didn't want to, but again, it was the right thing to do. So again, you like guys who want to play and not just looking, like Dave said, looking for days to take off or minutes to take off, and again, that's when you're scratching for playoff position and spots and games. Every game's important. It's hard to do.